You know, for a long time, Malaysia has been one of Asia's great success stories. But right now, we're at a major crossroads. We've got these huge demographic and economic shifts coming our way, and honestly, the old ways of doing things just aren't going to cut it anymore. So let's dive into the new blueprint that's been designed to tackle all of this head on.
At the very heart of this new plan is a really powerful idea. Success isn't just about big economic numbers like GDP anymore. The real measure, and this quote from the blueprint says it all, is whether the most vulnerable people in our society can actually feel the progress in their own lives. It's all about putting people, not just the economy, first.
For decades, we've seen some pretty incredible growth, and it's lifted millions of people out of poverty. That's a fantastic achievement, no doubt. But the world is changing, and so are we. The strategies that got us to this point are starting to show their age, and they're just not enough to guarantee a secure and dignified life for every single Malaysian going forward.
So, what are we really up against? Well, it turns out there are several deep-rooted challenges building up pressure right under the surface. You can almost think of it like a ticking time bomb, one that really threatens our long-term stability and the well-being of the next generation.
Now, take a look at this. On the left, you've got a classic population pyramid from back in 1980. See that wide base? That's a lot of young people supporting a smaller number of older folks. But now look at the projection for 2050 on the right. It's not a pyramid anymore, it's becoming more like a column. And what that tells us is we are rapidly becoming an older nation, with fewer young, working-age people to support a growing number of retirees. And this really shows you just how fast this is all happening. For Malaysia to go from an aging to an aged nation, it's only going to take about 25 years. Now, to put that into perspective, it took France 115 years to make that same shift. We are aging at a speed that a lot of developed Western countries have never seen, and that puts an immense amount of pressure on our social systems.
So, what does this actually mean for you personally? Well, here's a pretty shocking number. 2/3 of EPF members have less than 50,000 ringgit in their retirement fund by the time they hit 54. Just let that sink in for a second. With people living longer and longer, that is nowhere near enough to live on for maybe 20 or more years after you stop working.
Okay, so let's connect the dots here. We have a rapidly aging population, which means more people retiring. At the exact same time, most people have critically low savings for that retirement. And to top it all off, our current social safety net is basically a patchwork of over 110 different programs. It's fragmented, it's confusing, and it's just not built to handle the challenges that are coming our way.
If this breakdown is giving you a clearer picture, hit like and subscribe so you'll always stay ahead on Malaysia's biggest issues.
Okay, after all that doom and gloom, here is the good news. The blueprint doesn't just point out problems, it actually offers a new, optimistic vision for the country's future. It's about fundamentally redefining what we even mean by national success.
For a long time, we've measured our country's progress mainly through economic growth, right? GDP. But this new vision shifts the focus to something called social well-being. And it's a simple but really profound idea. Instead of just measuring how much stuff we produce, let's measure what really matters: people's health, their security, and their overall quality of life.
So, how do we get there? The blueprint introduces something called the SHINE-M framework to guide us. You can think of it as our new North Star. SHINE stands for shelter, healthcare, income security, nutrition, education, and mobility. It's a holistic guide that makes sure we're looking at every single piece of what makes a good life for Malaysians.
Now, a great vision is one thing, but how do we actually make it a reality? This is where the blueprint gets really practical. It proposes a massive overhaul of our social safety net to turn that SHINE-M vision into something concrete for every single Malaysian.
The old system is, frankly, a mess. We've got over 110 different assistance programs spread across dozens of agencies. It's like trying to control your entire home with 100 different remote controls. The new blueprint wants to replace all of that with one simple integrated system, like a single smart app that does everything. It's a huge shift from a complicated charity-based model to a simple rights-based system that everyone can access.
And the core of this new system is called the Social Protection Floor, or SPF. So what is that exactly? Well, it's a foundational safety net for absolutely everyone. This image shows it perfectly. The SPF provides a minimum tax-funded level of support for every citizen. Then, on top of that floor, you can build higher levels of protection with things like EPF and SOCSO. The key is, it makes sure nobody falls through the cracks.
So what does this look like in real life? Well, the SPF is designed to support you at the most vulnerable stages of life. During childhood, it means grants for young kids and help with preschool. During your adult working life, it means better support for persons with disabilities. And for old age, it introduces a universal social pension starting from age 70, giving everyone a basic income to rely on.
This all sounds great on paper, but you're probably wondering, when is this actually going to happen, and what's the real-world impact for me and my family going to be?
Well, this isn't just a dream. There's a clear roadmap. As you can see on this timeline, the plan is being rolled out in phases. There are key milestones like kicking off the SPF for old age assistance, then extending it to mothers and children, and eventually passing a Social Protection Act to make these rights permanent. This makes the whole plan feel concrete and, more importantly, achievable.
So what's the bottom line? This blueprint is a long-term plan to build a more secure, resilient, and supportive society. It means more security for your kids as they're growing up, more dignity for your parents in their old age, and a lot more confidence in your own future when you eventually retire. It's really about strengthening the foundation for every Malaysian family.
Join thousands of Malaysians who want clarity, not confusion. Tap like, hit subscribe, and let's keep making sense of this together.
Ultimately, this blueprint isn't just some government document. It's a vision for the kind of country we want to be. It offers a path to a more secure future for all of us. But it does leave us with one final, really important question. How do we as citizens build it together?